Let me just start recording. One sec, and then I'll get going. Lovely. Okay. Jeremy, far away. Thank you very much.
Sure. Hi, Heather. How are you doing?
Hi, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. Emma Lamb's been called in. Can you tell us about her and how much her call-up reflects her form in the 100?
Yeah, she's had a brilliant domestic season all round. She did brilliantly in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint top run scorer. In that, she's been in and around the academy, and she came on a trip abroad to Sri Lanka, I think, a few years ago. So she's definitely been on our radar for a long time, and just shows how good the domestic system is working. Now it's in place, it gives those players an opportunity to showcase their skills. And obviously for Charlie and Maya, obviously not ideal on their first call-ups to then be pinged. But yeah, Lammy very much deserves a call, and looking forward for her to meeting up today.
Yeah, anything else you can tell us about Charlie and Maya having to sit this one out?
Yeah, so it was a close contact, I think, and they're having to have a couple of tests and do 5 days. So we're hoping, if all goes well, that they'll join us after the first T20.
Was Alice Capsey a thoughts about bringing in for this, or is she definitely going to figure maybe in the ODIs to come?
Lots of people talked about Alice. Obviously had an outstanding 100. She's been someone that's been talked about a lot, as have a number of players. There's been a lot of players that have stood up and put in performances, and that's been so good in terms of selection. It was probably the widest pool of players I think we've talked about for, well, since I've been captain, that's for sure, and that's a great thing for the team. And yeah, Alice is definitely one we've got on our radar, but we've gone with a few different players that we want to have a look at and want to see how they react to being around the group.
How would you assess the importance, Heather, of these T20s before the ODIs, given that there's a 50-over World Cup coming up soon? Are they the kind of the hors d'oeuvre before the main course?
Yeah, I guess so. I think any game you play for England is always massively important, but those ODIs are going to be a huge focus for us with the World Cup. We've obviously got the Commonwealth Games next year, which is a huge tournament as well, and there's 3 T20s in the Ashes, so they're by no means sort of warm-ups at all. Yeah, it might give us the chance to have a little look at a few players, and the ODIs, the schedule for the ODIs is pretty mad, to be honest. We've got 5 games in, I think, 10 or 11 days, so there's going to be, I'm sure we're going to have to look at potentially rotating a few players and looking after players. It's been a long old summer with various bubbles, etc. So we're going to have to make sure we look after players physically and mentally. But yeah, it's anytime you play for England, anytime you're preparing for a series, you're looking to give your best and try and put together the best preparation to try and win those games.
Sure. And coming off the back of the 100, what do you expect the influence of the 100 actually to be on the T20 and the ODIs? Because Charlotte Edwards was calling it as single-handedly transforming women's cricket in this country. What do you think the 100 influence is going to be?
Well, it was so good, wasn't it? What a tournament it was, the crowds that we had, the support that we had, and the cricket that was on show. It's going to be a huge thing, I think, for women's cricket, but I don't think we're necessarily going to see the impact straight away in terms of the series coming up. I think that impact will be seen over the next couple of years, and I think the biggest impact will be for us as cricketers being able to play under that sort of pressure, under crowds consistently. Is going to be huge for us, how we deal with that as players, and the players that really embrace it and grow when they are under that pressure is going to be a big learning, I think. Whether we'll see the translation of cricket fans coming straight to women's international, I really hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. We usually get pretty good support at the grounds that we play at. Chelmsford is obviously the fixture, the ground for the first fixture, and our support there has been outstanding over the years, so hopefully that continues.
Do you see the 100 as a gateway format that will eventually entice young girls into the other formats from the 100?
Yeah, I hope so. Just getting people involved in cricket is a huge thing. Having that first good experience of cricket then hopefully gets you involved in other things, gets you to want to find out more about it, go to more games, find out about different formats. So yeah, I really hope so. I know there was a lot of new fans that did engage with 100, and it's just transferring them now to other formats and getting them to continue that love. And there were so many young girls on show at the 100 that came to watch, and that's lovely, and hopefully that translates to more girls coming to watch the internationals this summer and in the future. Thanks
so much. Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Cheers.
Thanks, Jeremy. Other half of our opening partnership, Adam Mountford, please.
Hi, Heather. Just talking again about momentum. Obviously, it's the success of the 100, the high profile of the women's game. Do you think there's some lessons learned from 2017, the Women's World Cup win, about how you can keep the momentum going through these games coming up in the summer?
Yeah, I think so. I think, to be honest, 2017, it did feel like a bit of a one-off. Unfortunately, it was obviously an amazing day, but I felt like the momentum wasn't really capitalised, I think. So I think with the 100, the success that it's had, it's about trying to transfer those fans to coming more regularly. And I think that's one thing with women's sport. Sometimes it's those, not just women's cricket, women's sport in general, it's those one events that are really well supported. It's just making sure that you sort of transfer those to all year round, to getting people to come in to support the game all year round. And I think the success that the women's game had in the 100, I think a lot can be taken into the international game. I'd love to see the same marketing budget, T20 on a Friday night, some of the big grounds, Lords, Old Trafford, wherever it might be, and trying to fill that out for us maybe a couple of times a year, live on BBC. That would be awesome. So yeah, hopefully that momentum that the 100 has got and the people that have engaged with it will transfer into more people at our games and more people interested in cricket.
You do have the game at Chelmsford live on BBC television. And again, that is another opportunity to capitalise on the 100 and the extra interest that was shown, the fact it's back on terrestrial TV so soon afterwards.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, the first game's going to be on it, so that's a real opportunity for us to again showcase our skill and try and put on a really good show and try and have a really good day at Chelmsford on Wednesday.
And in terms of the opposition, clearly a very strong New Zealand side, lots of talent. It's not going to be a straightforward series for England, is it, in either T20s or the ODIs? No,
they've got some real match winners. Susie Bates coming back into the side after injury as well. Nice to see Susie back. Sophie Devine, she had quite a dry series against us in New Zealand, so I'm sure she'll be looking to emulate the form that she's shown in tournaments like the Big Bash and over her career. So they've got some real dangerous players. Amy Satterthwaite as well scored a brilliant 100 against us, Dunedin in that New Zealand ODI series. So yeah, they're not a side to be taken lightly. They're obviously the hosts of the 50 over World Cup next year as well. So yeah, we'll I'm sure be tested, which is what we want. I feel like we've been tested a lot by India this summer. We felt like we've learned a lot in that India series. So for us, it's about continuing that form, keep being successful and trying to nullify the threat that New Zealand offer.
And just a final question for me, Heather. Clearly the emphasis for you and the team is on the New Zealand games to come, but you've got potentially this really exciting winter. But are there just a few concerns? We've obviously got situation with Afghanistan, obviously close to Pakistan. You're due to play there. There's constant concerns over what's happening in Australia. As England captain, is it difficult with those sort of things in the background with games to come in the near future?
Yeah, there is a lot going on at the moment. I guess discussions about those both trips are ongoing. The Pakistan situation is very much an evolving situation. I know the ECB are monitoring it very closely, and obviously had the players, both us and the men's safety, at the forefront of their minds. So yeah, we're waiting to see a little bit on that. We're fully informed with the PCA and the ECB what's going on, and obviously what happens will happen, but we have to wait a little bit longer to see how the situation evolves. But obviously it's a country that I'd love to go to. I'm really excited to hopefully go there in October. And then, yeah, the obviously ongoing discussions, we're waiting on the men a little bit to see what happens with them. They obviously leave a lot earlier than we do. I think we're due to leave very early January to head to Australia. And then we're going straight onto that World Cup. So it's going to be a very long trip for us I think it's about 3.5 months altogether. So obviously similar sort of concerns about families and partners, etc., being able to come are very much there, but the ECB have been brilliant in communicating along with the PCA and trying to put the players' welfare and trying to get the best solution for players and obviously to get cricket on, because we're all desperate to go there. Playing an Ashes and a World Cup doesn't come around very often, so we're desperate to go and play.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Sonia Twig, please.
Hi, Heather.
Hey, Sonia.
New Zealand haven't played since April, and you guys have obviously had so much cricket this summer with the 100 and the India series. Do you think that could be an advantage?
I didn't know hadn't played since April, actually. I know they've been in England a long time, down at Derby, doing a big prep camp and getting used to conditions. But yeah, potentially, I guess a lot of us, we've had a very busy summer. We've played a lot of cricket, and we should be battle ready to go out there and perform our skills, I guess. But I guess we can't really worry about the preparation they've had. It's just about us trying to play our best cricket and focus on ourselves. And I'm sure that they've been preparing very well and they'll be ready and fresh and up for a fight. So yeah, we can't think about that too much.
Was it a shame not to see some of their players in the 100?
Yeah, they've got some world-class players. Amelia Kerr, Sophie Devine, etc. Would have been lovely to see them here, but obviously at the moment things are quite tough with COVID and quarantine, and having gone through a few quarantines myself, I don't blame anyone for not wanting to have to do that. And there's a lot of cricket at the moment, and bubbles aren't particularly fun or easy to deal with. But yeah, in terms of purely cricket-wise, I would love to see them play, and hopefully we'll see a few of them next year.
And it's been a busy summer for all of you. Do you think we might see a bit more rotation in the squad, because it was pretty consistent for the India series?
Potentially, yeah, with the schedule, the ODIs are particularly busy. So we're going to have to make sure we look after people. Yeah, we've had a lot of cricket. We've had about a week off since the 100 finished, and trying to refresh and things like that. So yeah, it's something we'll have to look at, making sure we're looking after people physically and mentally, and also using the opportunity, if we can, to try and give opportunity to players to show what they can do and build the squad depth. So yeah, it's something we'll definitely look at.
All right, thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Kalyani, please.
Hi, Heather.
Hello.
My question is that we've seen in the series against India that the batting order for England looks almost settled. So I want to know, will there be any experimentation of sorts with the bowling attack?
I think the bowling attack performed brilliantly. The summer saw some really strong performances from a lot of the bowlers. And we've got a core group now, a core squad of bowlers that we can pick from. And obviously with the nature of the games and how close they are, generally bowlers need to be looked after, particularly seamers, a little bit more. So yeah, we might obviously have to look at how we rotate and how we use the different players. But I think we've got a really good core group of bowlers as well that we pick from, particularly in T20. That bowling unit has probably been our biggest strength, I think, over the last couple of years in T20 cricket. But yeah, having that squad depth and different players performing well. You saw Tash Farrant, how well she performed in the 100, and what performances she put in, and she was in the bench for the whole of the India series. So people putting in those sort of performances and making it really, really tricky for us to leave them out is what we want.
Right. Also, with WBBL, we have seen that Australia is currently having a problem of plenty. Do you think with Rachel Heo Flint Trophy, Charlotte Edwards Cup, and of course with the 100, that England soon will be in that same shape within limited time to have? And how will it be for you as a captain to have that problem of plenty going ahead?
Yeah, I think we're already starting to see it, and I think it will continue to grow over the next couple of years as the 100 and the true professionalisation of the domestic game gives players the opportunity to train as much as the England players. And I think we're already starting to see that with some of the performances from the domestic players in the 100. And as I talked about earlier, the pool of players that we're talking about now in selection is much bigger, and every game it's just so great that we can watch every game and see these players in action just at the click of a button on a screen through the streaming service, and obviously having stuff on telly as well. So yeah, I think we're starting to see it, and yeah, hopefully it will give us many options for those big couple of months we've got in Australia and New Zealand early next year.
One last question. You will set to go to New Zealand as a you will defend your title as a World Cup winner. So my question is, when planning of all these tours of the massive Ashes series and of course the World Cup, what do you think will be the criteria will be looked at, as the squad limits have been expanded? So what will be looked at from the players and what they are expected to do in coming tours for that spot in the squad?
Yeah, well, the planning for the World Cup and the Ashes started probably a couple of years ago, so it's been a long time in the making, trying to get your squad and the players in that peaking at the right time. And I guess you're always trying to think, how can you add to the side that you got? What players could make a difference that could add different skill sets or make the team better. So I guess always in selection, that's at the forefront of your mind. And there are opportunities for players to push their place for that World Cup and for the Ashes series. We feel like we've got a really good core, but by no means that's not a closed shop. We've shown that in the selection that we made for the T20 series, obviously with Charlie, Maya, and now Lamy coming into contention. So yeah, it's the opportunity for the players to step up and show what they can add to an England side and how they can make the team win games of cricket.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kalyani. Nobody else has flagged a question in the chat, but I'll just give someone or anyone an opportunity if they want to ask a last one. No. Brill, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
I've got a final one. Sorry, Henry.
No, that's fine. Go on.
Do you think this series could be a good opportunity for some of the younger players to play themselves into contention ahead of the World Cup?
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, our priority is winning games of cricket, and the sides that we select are to do that with the best side we think that is going to win against New Zealand. But yeah, potentially there might be a chance to give opportunity. A lot of us that have been in the squad for India have had a lot of cricket. So yeah, there's a potential, and if a player comes in and does really well, and we feel like they can add something better that someone else can, and that by no means will they not be selected. It definitely gives an opportunity for the players that are in the team as well to keep putting in really good performances, and giving us those selection dilemmas. That's what we want.
Thank you. Okay, I'm done now, Henry. Sorry.
Thanks, Sonia.
No problem at all. I'll just do one final, just in case there's another last one. No.
Yes, Henry, I have one
No,
actually.
yeah.
Yes, yesterday, Susie Bates in the press conference said that she would love to play a test match, and she selected a venue in New Zealand. So if New Zealand gets the opportunity to play a test match in England, what ground in England you would like them to play at?
Which ground did she
choice
pick?
of
Was it a home ground, Dunedin, by any chance?
Sorry?
Which ground did she pick?
If I'm not wrong, University Oval.
Is that Dunedin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any ground. I'd love to play them in a test match.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was operating under the assumption that we're all using the chat, but just in case we're not, we're welcome for more questions. So I will do one, not a final one, we can keep going, but if you flag your questions in the chat, then I can see them, but it's no problem. If anyone else has a question, please do fire away. Third time's a charm. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the bank holiday. See you all soon. I'll send this recording out as soon as I can.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.